Hello, this is Luke. Now in this video, I'm going to talk about the Korean pronouns, including I and you. So, first of all, the most common one that we use is na. So it's an informal form. So as you can see, na here is so made up of N and A. So na is I. And if you've learned these particles, you can put them together. So 나는 means I am, and 가 particle, identifier particle. So it becomes 내가, and it also means I am. But you know, there's a difference between 는 and 가. So you can find more about the differences by clicking the links. And 도 is 나도, which means I also am. I'm also. So that 도 is also. And then 나를 means, you know, 를, it makes the I become the object of a sentence. So you can learn about that as well. So 나, 나는, and 나는 becomes 난 when we talk, when we speak, you know. So it's just basically, it's a simpler or contracted form of 나는, 난. And 나를 also becomes 날 as a short form. And my is 내. And mine is 내 것. But 내 것 is more like a written form where when you write something. And when you say something, you may say 내 거, 내 거. So 내 거 means mine. Now, there is also polite form of I, which is 저. So 저 is used when you talk in an informal setting. So, for example, when you are talking to someone of higher status in social position, or someone older than you, or even if you know you're talking to someone who are older or younger, if it's in a formal setting, then you would use 저. Yeah, so 저 is I. And likewise, 나, 저는, and becomes 전, and 저 becomes 제 when it's combined with 가, the identifier particle. So it's 제가, and then 도 is 저도, and then 저를, and 저를 becomes 절 in when you speak. And my is 제. So 제 가방. So 가방 means bag, and 제 가방 means my bag. And 제 것 is mine in written Korean, and 제 거 is you know, when you talk to someone about what is mine. Let's go to you, 너. So it's an informal form, 너. So you would use 너 when you talk to your friends, with your mates, your classmates, or you know, someone close to you, and you know, usually someone who are younger than you and so also quite close, and you're sort of a casual informal setting, then you would say 너. So you, 너, and when it's combined with 는, 너는, and it becomes none. And when it's combined with 가, it becomes 내가. So 내가. But when you speak, it basically becomes 네가. So 네가. So you are. And when it's combined with 도, it's 너도, 너도. And when it's combined with 를, objective particle, it's 너를, or becomes 널. And your is 내. But when you speak, it's usually sort of pronounced 니. And 네 것 is yours, but when you talk to someone, it becomes 네 것. 니꺼. Now next, 당신 is you, but it's a polite form, but it's hardly used in spoken language. It's sort of not very, even though it's supposed to be a polite form, it doesn't sound polite at all for some reason. Because in Korean, you don't normally use you. It can be quite, what do you call, it can be quite intrusive. Yeah, because it's like a you know, when you're pointing to someone, and 당신, this can be quite combative or intrusive way of speaking. So you would instead say Mr. So-and-so, or rather, you know, using their names usually. For example, when someone talks to me, they may say 루크는, for example, or 루크가, or 루크도, you know, for example. So, but well, let's learn this as for the sake of completion. So, 당신 is you, and 당신은 is you know, topic particle, 당신은, and 당신이. Now, notice identifier particle 가 becomes e when it's combined with a word with 받침, or you know, the word with a final final consonant there, right there, in 당신이. So 당신이, and then 당신도, and then 당신을. Now I gotta say that 당신 is used commonly in dramas, or you know, in written books, or our songs. Actually, a lot of Korean songs, you would hear 당신 in sort of a romantic way, where you know, lover talks to their, you know, their lover, you know, 당신. It can be romantic, but when in real conversations or in everyday sense, you wouldn't use it. It's a bit funny. Okay, 당신, and 당신 것 is yours. 당신 거 is when we speak, actually. Yeah, so you can read that, you know, we don't really use 당신. So instead, you would use their designated position, for example, teacher, or 선생님, or 사장님, you know, president of a company, or 사모님, or you know, wife of any respect, you know, someone, you know, respectable, or 아저씨 is you know, middle-aged man, 아줌마, middle-aged woman. But I mean, you also need to sort of get the nuances of these words, because you can be wrong. So and actually in Korean, you don't use you at all, because you can speak without subjects. So you could just say, without saying, for example, you know, are you cold, or are you hungry? You can say that without using you. You just say hungry, or you know, thirsty, or you cold, you know, without saying you. But we will learn about it when we learn adjectives. And now, so you can also say, yeah, 선생님, you know, 의사 선생님 is also, you know, used. Basically, that's they are, you know, doctors are called 의사 선생님. Yeah, like I said, you know, 당신 can be used. Yeah, confrontational, that's the word I was looking for. It can be confrontational and offensive somehow. But it's used in dramas and songs, and naturally somehow. And I also mentioned 그쪽, but actually this is not usually used at all. It's quite rare, to be honest. But it's sort of, you know, it's because, you know, 당신 is so confrontational. You know, the next better word to use is a 그쪽, you know. But it's sort of not a good way of using. So, for example, in this example, 점심 드셨어요? Have you had lunch? And then the person B says, 아니요, 아직이요. 그쪽은요? So you can see that, you know, no, not yet. What about you? And you may have heard about this in the Korean dramas. Probably not relatively common. So just so that you understand, you know, the meaning of it, but you wouldn't really use it in everyday conversation. You would rather say, I would say, 아니요, no, 아직이요, not yet. 드셨어요? I would rather use the same sentence here. 드셨어요? What about you? But actually, I'm saying, had lunch, you know, sort of, but in a formal way. So 드셨어요 is a formal way of saying had a meal, for example. And 점심 is lunch or noon, you know, both are the same things. Yeah, so I hope that you've learned the basics of these pronouns, and well, the language is about building blocks, isn't it? You gotta build words, vocabulary, and use them. But at the same time, you need to listen carefully, and listen to the songs or music or dramas or YouTube, whatever. It'll help you improve your Korean. If you got any questions, leave in the comments. Even though I may not have been quite diligent in replying to all the comments, but I really appreciate your interest and your comments, and I really appreciate it. So yeah, I'll see you next time.